Hi, this is Carmina, Messy Unicorn speaking. I know, I know you all wanted to probably see another sewing project, so here one is. This is just my journal that I keep for public viewing. So, disclaimer, this is not a list of tutorials. This is not a regular posting that you can really depend on. I just do like a public journal vlog for showing my projects. I'm sorry, that's my dog. And Bitly, quiet, quiet. And I also like to show this dress, which I just made and I just sewed the other sleeve on today. And it's got this hand dyed, natural dyed silk velvet that was extremely expensive. So I was only able to buy a half a yard. But it comes from Etsy, a lady on Etsy that hand dyes silk velvet in small batches and sells it. And it's a gold metallic green. It's lined in tissue taffeta, which is from Jodhpur, India. They sell me good stuff. So, and the lady who made this, who dyed this velvet or processed this velvet, did an amazing job. It has a smooth texture. It's so soft, and as you can see, I quilted the cuff and the placket, which is going to have buttons on it, with gold thread, but it's not real gold, it's just gold colored. And then this is a super, super soft, luxurious cotton twill that I thrifted, and this is, these are buttons from Amazon. If you search for enamel buttons, you might find these. They're from China, so they take like 8 weeks to get to your house, depending on where you live. And this is a jacquard ribbon, also from Amazon. And this is a silk mulberry silk ribbon, 100% silk satin ribbon from Etsy. And they also have the same ribbon, kind of ribbon on Amazon. And the velvet is up here. This teal velvet is a poly velvet that's not exactly historically accurate. I imagine like this is historically inspired, but it's more like royalty core meets boho with like some kirtle inspiration, but it's more like stylized. And that's what I was going for. Something I can wear both to the Renaissance Festival and wear to like Comic-Con or Anime Con, and be able to wear it anywhere, even to school, and still look professional. I can pair this with a pair of tall boots in the fall and in the winter, leave some of it like unbuttoned in the front, down to my knee, and I would look really cool. So I really hope this turns out well and I can get a successful button holes in the silk. If any of you have any comments about how to put buttonholes in a silk placket, because it's like a solid 4 layers of silk velvet, or 2 layers of silk velvet and a layer of this taffeta, and I forgot to put linen reinforcement in it. So like, I hope it doesn't tear. I don't know. But I made this kirtle from Morgan Donner's tutorial on how to draft a kirtle, and I drafted my own pattern. And it was really great. All I had to do was extend the front down to the hip in order to accommodate buttons, and it works really great. Originally, I'd meant for it to hold lacing, but when I saw these buttons, I fell in love with them, and I just added an extra inch by adding this placket on and just extended the piece, and just kind of secured it with these jacquard ribbons, and it ended up being a happy accident. I really love this dress, but as always, there's flaws in things you do when you're not like an expert at sewing. So I hand sewed most of this dress, and as you can see, like this heavy buckram linen that I used to back the button placket, or heavy linen to reinforce most of the, and I reinforced the neckline too. It's not a matching color. It's like a tawny gold stuff. It's like brown, and I'm not altogether happy with that because it looks sloppy on the inside. But on the other hand, if I can find where one of the panels is seamed, which is hard, these panels are all French seamed by machine because I don't have the time to French seam everything by hand. And I did a neat job. I mean, they're pretty good. And you can't even see them on the outside. So that's pretty cool. I know that you're supposed to do your hems by hand, but I found that when I tried to do it by hand, it was really uneven. Sorry, I'm out of focus there. Yeah. So the best way for me to get it straight and even and not warped was to do it on machine and really pull it tight and stretch it out like that. And since some of this is on the diagonal, it really helped, and some of it's on the straight grain. So I followed people's advice, and I put straight grain to diagonal grain, or like when something's cut on the diagonal, you want to pair it with the straight grain so it doesn't stretch out. So I followed everyone's advice and directions that I've seen on YouTube, and this is what I got. So hopefully, if I don't want to wear this dress, I can sell it, but I think I'm going to wear it to the Ren Fair because it's just the right length. And unlike this dress, which is my last project, this one has a train. It's really long, and I don't want to get it muddy. And I'm wondering and I'm worried about wearing my cloak because it also has a train. And I might have to rip up the hem and redo it so it's shorter, but it might be more practical that way. It is constructed like a royal robe, like you would wear in a palace, but with it dragging behind because I thought that was extra, and turns out it's not all that practical. It really bothers me because every time I turn around, I have to flurry the cape so it swirls around me, and I have to do a really dramatic turn. Some people might like doing that all the time. I don't. After a while, you get tired of it. But yeah, and if you're wondering, that is faux fur. It's like a faux wolf fur for the trim, and yeah, it's lined in a poly satin, and the cape is polyester, but that's before I learned about natural fibers and what they do for you. So that's why I strove really hard to make the blue dress completely out of natural fibers. So you can see some of the hand stitching there. And yeah, I don't know what else to add, really, except that the sleeve patterning directions from several people really helped me get around the sleeve patterning for this. But since this fabric is so slippery and so goosey, it didn't get sewn together or cut exactly straight. I didn't have a cutting table available or anywhere to cut it. I had to cut it on my floor. And don't do that. Don't be like me and cut silk on your carpet, because you not only get velvet bits all over your floor, but you also get a really wonky, and you get this. all this extra inside here, which falls down from the top. And then you get to quilt your cuff and your placket because it looks like this because you hand sewed it, and it's poofy, and it's wrong, and it's an eyesore. So like, quilting was definitely a solution, but I wanted it to be smooth, but I couldn't get it smooth. And the more I did a pick stitch, the more I had it catching on the outside, and I was like, I'll just have it catch all the way around and I'll quilt it. So that'll be fine. Yeah, if you cut sleeves out or anything out of silk velvet and tissue weight taffeta, I recommend weights. I also recommend pinning it to a heavy paper or a good paper that can be cut with your pattern piece, so that you can hold it down. I didn't have anything like that that was big enough because I have big arms and I didn't have big enough paper. So this is what I had to deal with. And yeah, so that is my journal for today. I'll be posting this soon, and there's a kitty, very sneaky kitty. Yeah. And I will speak to you soon. And if you are curious about where the space is in my house, it is the coffee bar. So like, we have our tea, we have our coffee, and we have our fridge. And this is our bar. So yeah, so bye.